Dear students, good evening. Welcome to La Excellence IAS. Let us do the editorial analysis for today, that is November 18, 2022. The first article, Opaque political finance or financing could cost democracy dear. What I found in this article is the way the essay is structured. You can learn a lot on how to structure your answer. So the macro framework to the micro framework. So general to specific, how he has made the points in the essay, finally how he got it a conclusion. That's one thing which you can take for your examination. Keeping that aside, if you have to learn something of the content, electoral financing in India is very critical to understand electoral democracy here. So the money power is increasing in Indian elections from time to time. Today, electoral bonds are an important instrument to increase the money power in Indian elections. So in this case, electoral bonds are often criticized as opaque instruments of electoral financing. Why they are opaque instruments? SBI in every quarter, it is supposed to issue the electoral bonds. Then they will be given to the respective political parties. Political parties have to deposit them in their designated bank accounts. In this case, the person who is buying these electoral bonds from SBI, they are supposed to remain anonymous. Even Election Commission of India do not know, public do not know. But government or party which is in power, if it wants to know, it is not a big difficulty for it. And all the donations given to the political parties through electoral bonds, these are tax-free. In this case, these electoral bonds they are ushering an era of black money, or else an era away from black money is the question before us. Let us understand critically. In 1969, Indira Gandhi has banned corporate funding to political parties. What was her reason then? Politics business nexus has to be stopped. That's why we are not allowing for any more political funding. What it has led to, various political parties like Swatantrata Party, Janasangh, they have suffered a lot. And second thing, the money is reaching only to the highest levels of the Congress party, and through that money power, she was able to gain the control over the Congress units in the states. So two things, the money power has impact on political landscape in India on the parties which are contesting the elections. So it means party in power, opposition parties, everyone gets affected. The dynamics also gets changed within the party, internal to the party. So outside the party, if you see, the party which has got more money power has a greater voice in Indian politics. Either it was Congress before or BJP today, the voice of the party in the politics is also dependent on the money. And second, when electoral bonds kind of mechanism comes up, the highest level, that is at the central party level, a connection between the politics and business is formed. In such a circumstances, the national elite will gain the control over the political party and the local elite will become dummies. That has proven in the case of Indira Gandhi. It is also being proven in the case of BJP today. So, the concentration of the power, centralization of politics in a political party is the consequence of this political financing, this mode of financing. And obviously, who is receiving more money? The party which is in power is receiving more money. Yesterday we saw that 67% of the money is received by BJP. Congress hardly received 8% of the money through electoral bonds. So the critical factors we have to understand, one is it makes or brings an advantage to the party in power, encourages business politics nexus, it centralizes the power in a given political party. In this case, the book which we have to use to enrich our answer for our +1 advantage, that is Costs of Democracy, Political Finance in India. The book by Vaishnav and Devesh Kapoor. This book name, if you can remember, you can add that to your answer. Weighing in on PMGKAY, the free grain scheme. What is PMGKAY? Pradhana Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. It has come into existence due to the challenges created by COVID-19. So it is meant to provide food security to millions during pandemic. It has to provide food security to millions of the people who are unable to get any support. In this case, already National Food Security Act is there. This particular thing, Pradhana Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, is going to provide additional benefit over National Food Security Act. Under the National Food Security Act, 35 kg for family is given and for beneficiaries of Antyodaya Anna Yojana, and 5 kg per person is been given for rice or wheat or millets at 3 rupees, 2 rupees or 1 rupee per month. Now, under Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, another 5 kgs benefit is been given at free of cost. This is in a nutshell this particular scheme. So after COVID-19 is over and the markets and employment got reopened, government is still continuing this program. The subsidy burden on the government is increasing. Especially with regard to food subsidy, the biggest challenge is diversion of the food grains away from the program. In this case, rather than this, the government can go through the direct benefits transfer scheme where the leakages can be minimal. So that is what is the view of the author over here. So rather than going for such an elaborate food subsidy scheme, we have to go for direct benefits transfer. Second is, the intention of government in continuing this program appears to be more political rather than welfareistic. And third thing is, the subsidy and freebies, these are going to cost the economy very dear, government very dear in the long run, as we are seeing the recession is gaining up. In this context, understand, whenever the economy is not performing good, whenever there is unemployment, in those circumstances, government has to come in to protect the poor and marginalized. That is my view on this particular article. Trade tumult. India's current account deficit is increasing. Why is it increasing? One is exports are decreasing. Exports of goods and services are decreasing. Imports are increasing. So imports volume is not increasing, but imports value is increasing. Why the value is increasing? As the rupee is depreciating, the cost of imported good is increasing and exports are coming down. The major reason can be global recession. In this context, India targets to achieve $2 trillion in export volume by 2030. In this case, a dynamic foreign trade policy is required at this moment for India. And isn't reservation for the poor a good thing? Let us try to understand this article. EWS reservations are being provided at 10%. So these are class reservations, not caste-based reservations. And in this case, the poor among the various other communities, SC, ST, OBC, who enjoy the reservations are not being given another reservation, concurrent reservation under EWS category. So in this case, the poor are being given reservations among the upper caste and various minorities. So obviously, can reservation be an anti-poverty measure? Reservation is an exception to the equality principle. You need to have a very strong reason to bring in reservations. That is the first argument. Now, if you take comparison between reservations to educationally and socially backward classes and the EWS reservations, there is one clause for socially and educationally backward classes. The clause is, reservation shall be provided only if they are inadequately represented in public services. But EWS reservations, this clause of inadequate representation is not being mentioned. And then, reservation in India is deeply connected with the context of social justice because the caste is taken as a principal factor for social and educational backwardness of various communities. So that's why reservation is considered as a tool of social justice. Today, most of the poor are being provided with reservations, and most of these poor are not connected with discrimination in one or the other way. So that way, the reservation policy and social justice are getting disconnected. And then EWS reservations are also criticized as exclusionary because they are being provided only to certain segments of the society. And reservations, if you see as an exception, so it means they have to be fewer in number. Today, In certain states like Jharkhand, reservations cross 77%. So, unreserved category is an exception rather than the reserved category in Indian system today. So, these are the problems which we have to see with EWS reservations. These are the articles for today. Thank you very much.